Hello everyone, welcome to Blue Dragon Universe, and this is the Blue Dragon Actual YouTube channel. So my team told me that there are a couple of questions that they have received on these two profiles, product development and reinsurance, and the questions mostly relates to whether this role are actual or not, right? Because maybe people are misguiding, actual freshers as product development or reinsurance being, kind of uh, designed as actual role, which is uh, whether that is true or not. So that is the point of discussion, right? So without wasting any further time, let us move into detail. Now, whenever I got this sort of question, my initial thought process was how can I devise a process so that if anytime you have similar question, you yourself can identify how to kind of deal with this, right? Instead of asking us if there is any way. So I think this is the most suitable way. So whenever you have any doubt about any profile, whether it's actual or not, try to find profiles of senior persons, like people who are working at senior level in such domain. Like if you just do maybe AVP product development, right? Or you do AVP reinsurance profile, right? Reinsurance profile. So most of the times you'll be able to find profiles of people who would be working at senior level, and you can go through their about section and other section, which will help you in identifying whether it is an actual role or non-actual role. Because senior people who have worked for 10, 11, 15 years, they would write those in their in their about section, and it will, so if you see couple of profiles like that, you will be able to understand if this is actual role or not an actual role. You need not ask anyone basically. However, obviously sometime those there might be some confusion, especially reinsurance ops that might not be that easily available. There might be very few people. So in that case, obviously you need to ask, right? But this should be your first step. If you cannot find anything, or if you there is confusion, then obviously you can once again reach out to us, right? So just just remember to kind of check this. Also, educational qualification of the person. So suppose you are seeing 10 profiles, right? And in those 10 profiles you are seeing mostly they are MBAs, right? So you can immediately click okay, so for this profile actually is not required. So these people are kind of working from MBA, MBA education background, so actually is not required. So this is a non-actual role, right? Also, as I mentioned already, the type of profile, what type of what they are writing in their about section, is it somehow can you relate that to actually, or is it just kind of touching on actually, but it is not a full-fledged actual role. So that is also something that you need to kind of check. And also the employment history, if someone has working for 14, 15 years, then that person is bound to have some employment history. And if you see that person has worked in actual domain as well, and then now that person has moved to that role, so you can understand okay, this person is then, or this role is then actual, right? And if you see that repeating for number of profiles, then you can easily gauge that yeah, this is a actual role. But if that is not the case, if that person has served in sales or operation, and nowhere in his profile you can see anything related to actual, you can easily gauge that this is not an actual role. No matter how much the profile has been twisted in terms of words, it is not an actual role, right? So this is your first step, right? Just go to the profile of any senior level person and search couple of more other profiles, and then if you find that those people are kind of coming from MBA background, then it is definitely not an actual role. But if you see that those people are coming from actual background, and the employment history is also supporting that, then you should consider that that is an actual role, right? Our take. Now what, obviously whenever you ask a question, we are supposed to answer. So I believe product development, based on my knowledge, is a marketing profile who need market research. Suppose example, someone has developed a unique product, and that product is selling a lot. Now how this insurance companies operate is that the insurance company will try to poach a person from the marketing team, or maybe an actuary from the actual team of that company. And once that person is in the current company, right, in say from insurance B, insurer B, the company insurer A has poached one person, and now in insurance A, the company has to kind of company will give that person some some responsibility related to development of that product, right? Because that person has been in the system, that person understand how those product has been developed, right? So this is mostly the marketing profile, and these are done by market research. This is how usually people kind of hire from different companies, so that they also get some insight. And then if some product is kind of selling massively, right? And there are phases in which some products sell massively. In 2010, 2011, the ULIP products were kind of sold a lot, right? So many companies turned to ULIP. Now these days, because the market are not doing that well, ULIP products are not selling, right? So it depends on, there is a phase for different product to sell. And whenever one product become popular, companies will try to get people associated with that products in a different company, right? So that is, I also do some market research, but market research usually involves kind of hiring someone else, right? And this also involves liaising with the actual team, but this is not an actual role, because you need to understand the cash flows, target market, age group, but it is non-actuarial. uh, I missed the spelling of actuary, right? So it is should be actuarial, Actuarial. A couple of days back, our LinkedIn page mentioned about that, right? So just wanted to point this out. Few people probably also know actual by this word, so that is not the correct word. So just to be cautious while publishing this, we are going to change this, but please note that this is not the correct spelling of actual, right? So this is how it works. So this is mostly a marketing role, which is kind of done by the MBAs. And like I mentioned, this is how it works. Now, someone can, kind of maybe twist the words and convert, or make a gesture, something like, like this is an actual role, but this is actually not an actual role, right? So this requires marketing expertise, and obviously it might require some research and numbers, but that does not mean that you need to be an actuary, right? It's just normal analytics and that sort of thing. So you can understand this is not a actual role. Right. Moving on to reinsurance claims profile. Now, these are mostly IT operation driven role, where you enter every details of treaties that is usually managed in SQL. So this is mostly related to the IT part of it. There will be some coding involved. Pricing, it deals with the actual pricing team. Basically, the head of the pricing might be, kind of, you might be your internal customer, right? You might be dealing with that person day in and day out. Once again, that does not mean it is an actual profile, right? Actual profile involves modeling, pricing, and reserving. You need to work on actual software, or you are at least you are working on Excel to create the premium of a product. But if you are working on SQL only, if you are just going to the actual department and coming back, then that is not a non-actual profile, right? That is a non-actual profile. So once again, coming back to our take, so reinsurance claims profile is not a marketing role. In this case, it falls under the claims department. It is non-actuarial, right? And the actual department also requires data for the claim to understand how they need to negotiate the reinsurance treaties, and the reinsurance treaties also need to be captured in the system, and that is done by this, the reinsurance profile. However, there are obviously people working in the actual department of companies, but that those companies are reinsurance companies like Swiss Re, Gen Re, Partner Re, right? There are so many reinsurance companies, right? And so if you are working in that such department, right, and you are working in modeling, you are working in actual software like maybe Access or Profit or whatever, whatever software you are doing, modeling, pricing, reserving, right? So then it's a actual profile. Otherwise it's not an actual profile, right? Otherwise it's a operation profile, right? So you need to be very, very careful in which department you are working, because if you work in such department for 2 years, and after 2 years you're trying to move into actual role, no matter how many papers you have cleared, you will be treated as a fresher, right? Because that is not an actual profile. And unfortunately, that would mean that you have lost 2 of your valuable years in a profile in which you should not be spending any time. So be very careful in kind of determining which profile you are in. And as I mentioned, maybe it's never a bad idea to ask this question in the interview and look for a clear cut answer. And also, as I mentioned, if someone who is taking your interview obviously would be some from some senior level, try to get the name of that person, and try to search his LinkedIn profile, right? And try to see what kind of job he has done in the past, what is the educational background, so that you have a clear idea whether the profile that you are getting into is an actual role or a non-actual role, right? So that's it, and this is a website that you are seeing. So we will also publish this website, and you'll also able to see the link of this website in the description. So if you require such kind of presentation, or kind of something like this from our team, you can, obviously you can just click on the link and you can see this website, right? So that it always stays with you. You need not go through the entire video. You can just open the website and just browse through this, right? So I hope that's it. You have some clarity about reinsurance claim profile and product development profile, whether it's actual or non-actual. I also gave you the way how you can determine which roles are actual and which roles are non-actual, right? Try to do your initial research and then only reach out to us if there is any confusion, right? Do not reach out to me, reach out to the team, and I think someone from my team can help you in that regard. And if I needed to be involved, the team will involve me like they did this time. But do not directly message to me for such queries. So I like to develop that hierarchy where you are reaching out to the Blue Dragon Universe LinkedIn page. Once again, the link for that is in description, and that is your point of contact rather than directly messaging me, right? So that's it, and I hope you are having a good time, and see you in future videos.